Hello everybody and welcome to my channel.
If the church took half the money.
I just wanted to make this video to tell you all to just keep the faith. I know things are looking a little rocky, but just keep calm. Just keep calm and watch this play out.
Robin, you know this is the third time R. Kelly has been behind bars this year, this time stemming from some federal charges that came down on Thursday. That's when he was arrested. Those charges were the result of an indictment by grand jury in New York. And so this particular case has roots there, here, Connecticut, and California. But R. Kelly's attorney seems to believe that he will be released from jail later today. That's exactly what a judge will be determining this afternoon, whether Kelly should be freed on bond. But federal prosecutors have already filed a motion saying the singer is a flight risk and a threat to the community, and he should stay in jail. Kelly was slapped with federal racketeering charges last week for allegedly paying hundreds of thousands of dollars to recover child sex tapes that went missing. He was also hit with federal child porn and obstruction charges.
Charged him in New York with enticing people and encouraging people to have sex with them. I don't think people accidentally have sex, so I'm not really sure what the criminal activity is there.
It was all about money. Numerous adults, men and women, turned a blind eye to sexual assault of young girls because they didn't want the gravy train known as R. Kelly to end.
So Michael Avenatti, an attorney representing some of Kelly's alleged victims, said yesterday Kelly paid the victim from his 2008 child porn trial more than $2 million to change her story. Kelly ended up being acquitted. Avenatti says he was given 2 of those missing sex tapes from the 90s.
Let me pause that right there just to show you all, which we already know Michael Avenatti is full of shit, but let's just prove the fact that these people have said over and over that is not their child in the video. They have said they have not been paid out. So I don't even know where Avenatti got this figure of $2 million. But let's just go to the article. Okay, so right here, I'm pretty sure everybody has heard that Greg Lanfair was arrested, which is some more bullcrap, some more propaganda. He may have been questioned yet again for the same thing that he went through in 2008, but yet again he lets them know he was not paid off as a witness, period. Is not his daughter in the video. Yet we all see they're going to continue to force this upon this man.
$2 million to change her story. Kelly ended up being acquitted. Avenatti says he was given 2 of those missing sex tapes from the 90s featuring Kelly and underage girls. Avenatti says he turned those tapes over to State's Attorney Kym Fox, and Fox turned those tapes over to the feds.
So he was given 2 tapes from the 90s, those same tapes from the first trial. Okay? So I don't know why he on Twitter with amnesia going back and forth with Mr. Greenberg. I'm watching this man block him and unblock him just to reply. I mean, how much of a narcissist can you be? You block somebody because you don't like their truth, but you can't help but to unblock them so that you can reply to whatever they say. And Kym Fox, we're not going to get started on her on this video. Again, I still have a video coming up for her. But as you can see, so much bull crap is going on. It's just all mere distraction, smoke and mirror. Because at the end of the day, the corruption is very clear with Kym Fox.
There are at least 14 victims, mostly being from Chicago. Now, R. Kelly is still facing those criminal sexual abuse charges filed earlier this year right here in Chicago. Of course, he's dealing with lots of litigation when it comes to child support payments to his ex-wife. R. Kelly will be in federal court at 1 this afternoon here at the Dirksen Building.
So why are we still talking
Breaking
about
news this
child
afternoon, R.
support?
Kelly.
Why are we still talking about child support when this lady got all the money she's supposed to have? Confused. Again. They want to keep saying his enablers are so stuck and fixated on money. Meanwhile, all these attorneys are sitting around here representing women who are more interested in cash settlements than anything. And what's odd to me is before they even announce that R. Kelly would not get a bond, I see this little treasure troll posting on her account, no bond. But it didn't come to a surprise to me because if you go peep what's going on in the Epstein case, he didn't get a bond. So go figure. You already knew they wasn't going to give R. Kelly a bond. Be for real.
News this afternoon, R. Kelly will not be free anytime soon. Today, a federal judge ordered the embattled singer held without bond on the latest sex crime charges against him. Good afternoon to you. Thank you for joining us. I'm Ben Bradley.
And I'm Lourdes Duarte. Federal prosecutors called Kelly an extreme danger to the community as they argued successfully to keep him locked up.
Let's go to WGN's Dana Rebick. She's live at the Dirksen Federal Building, where the singer's attorneys just spoke with reporters. Dana?
That's right. R. Kelly is facing 13 criminal counts here in this Illinois case, including charges of obstruction of justice and child pornography. Federal prosecutors laid out the details in court today. Sexual abuse, they say, involving 12 unique victims, a majority of them minors at the time. Prosecutors say this case involves hard, direct evidence, at least 3 new sex tapes filmed, they say, in distinctive rooms in R. Kelly's former home that show close-ups of his face, one involving a 14-year-old girl. Prosecutors argued in court that Kelly is an extreme danger, as you mentioned, to minor girls and a flight risk because of the serious prison.
Shout out Dana J, by the way. Just had to pause to say that. Shout out to Levi for Kelly. Shout out to Phases of the Next. Shout out to Sugar and Spice, Spitting Fire. You know, live and laugh. I'm sorry. It's a lot of people out here I would like to shout out, but I can't think of right now. I'm sorry, but shout out to everybody supporting R. Kelly.
Time involved in this case. Kelly is facing a minimum mandatory 10-year sentence in Illinois with a maximum of 195 years, as well as up to 80 years in New York on racketeering charges. Prosecutors are also concerned about potential obstruction of justice if he were to be released, saying Kelly paid off and intimidated witnesses and their families during his 2008 trial. 2 women who say they are Kelly's girlfriends did show up in court today, sitting in the front row of the courtroom to support him. They did not speak afterwards. Now, Steve Greenberg, R. Kelly's attorney, tried to argue that his client is not a flight risk, that he turned in his passport and does not have the financial means to travel. He said Kelly has always showed up to his court dates on time and that he is not a risk to the public because these allegations date back 2 decades. Greenberg also noted that Kelly cannot read and that it would be difficult for his legal team to meet with him in prison in his isolation cell to go over discovery in the case.
I mean, obviously he's disappointed. You know, he's in 24-hour-a-day solitary confinement. Essentially, it's the hole, because that's the safest place for them to house him. And it's not his fault. No TV, no anything, no contact with other people. It's largely inhumane.
Now, as far as the New York charges, Kelly is accused of being the leader of a criminal enterprise directing his associates to recruit underage girls for illegal sexual contact. Some, they say, happened over state lines, then isolate.
So do y'all hear this? Do y'all hear what this man is being charged with? They're saying that in the height of his career, he's more focused on getting his crew to solicit underage girls. Be for real. This man clearly made it known to the public, especially after the scandal with Aaliyah and all that if you're 18, anything goes. So miss me with that. I'm just not going to believe that this man was just sitting here sending people out to scout underage girls. Now, I will believe that some underage girls have played with their age to infiltrate this man's camp for this specific reason. I believe that.
And threatening these young girls. Ultimately, the judge sided with the prosecution today, calling these, again, extremely serious charges, and Kelly has pled not guilty on all counts.
So now he threatening these young girls. But I could recall all these women saying they left on their own accord.
Now, the next court date for Kelly here in Chicago is September 4th at 9 a.m. But what's still uncertain and up in the air is whether he will have to be extradited to New York to be arraigned on the charges there. The prosecution today said they're going to request if that can be done here through video conferencing instead of him traveling over state lines to New York. Live in the Dirksen Federal Building, Dana Rebick, WGN News.
Mr. Kelly, on at least one occasion, told associate number one that he would be, quote, dead, close quote, if another copy of the first tape surfaced.
If another copy of the first tape surfaced. Catch that.
Mr. Kelly also bragged to associate number one that he had dotted his I's and crossed his T's, quote, unquote, and that the young girl who was depicted in the videos and the young girl's family would not testify against him in connection with the trial because he had relocated them and paid them off. It was subsequently learned that Mr. Kelly, through multiple means,
that sounds like hearsay to me,
had paid the young victim and her family over $2 million not to testify and come forward in connection with the 2008 trial.
That's a lie.
So to those R. Kelly fans who want to talk about the 2008 trial and the fact that he was acquitted, it was bogus.
First of all, if you want to address us, you already know we already know what's going on. So don't come at us talking about if we want to address the 2008 trial. Bitch, this is what this whole motherfucking trial is about. Y'all the ones want to address the 2008 trial. Don't fucking come at us with that bullshit talking about if you want to talk about the 2008 trial and he bought it off. Shut your ass up.
Kelly bought his acquittal. He bought this victim and their parents and ensured that the truth was never told to that jury in 2008. There were subsequent disputes between Mr. Kelly and associate number one relating to the payment of the monies for the recovery of the first tape. Those were documented contemporaneously, meaning there are contemporaneous documents from that time period, making it impossible for this to have only now been fabricated. On one occasion, Mr. Kelly and Mr. McDavid paid associate number one.
So he wants us to believe that this man bought these witnesses off, and not only that, left a paper trail. Okay. This the same person accused of embezzlement, money laundering. This the same person y'all want to get y'all information from. This the same person y'all want to say, well, he's not a witness. He's just helping the feds out. I don't give a fuck what he doing. He don't need to have shit to do with this case, clearly. And that alone should be grounds to throw everything he has brought to the table in the fucking garbage can.
Approximately $160,000 to $170,000 in cash contained inside a shopping bag. This was during the 2008 trial, and it was done to ensure that associate number one did not come forward and describe the obstruction of justice that had been carried out.
You mean to tell me you just said all the stuff is documented, so now it's in cash. So I don't really know how you document cash, but all right. And number two, it sounds like to me you are describing Lisa Van Allen. And if you're describing Lisa Van Allen, she's already told us that she stole these tapes. She already told us that she was gifted this money, even though we already know it was a blackmail attempt. So, yeah, continue to talk, Avenatti, with your lying ass.
At the request of Mr. Kelly. Ultimately, a copy of that first videotape was provided to Ms. Fox's office by me in February of 2019, earlier this year. There is no question relating to the chain of custody of that videotape, what it represents, whether R. Kelly is on it.
There's no question for who. It might not be no question for the people who sitting here passing the so-called child of porn around, but at the end of the day, is that not a crime? So you talking about you passed it to her, she passed it to her, CNN saw it, this person saw it. What do you mean there's no question of the chain of command? You a fucking lie.
Whether he paid a significant sum of money together with others in order to attempt to bury it and prevent the truth from coming out. Be clear, R. Kelly and those around him obstructed justice in connection with the 2008 trial.
No, you be clear. All the people accusing this man of these heinous acts are extortionists, period. So if you want to say he obstructed justice, you need to go turn your ass around and have a conversation with them on where they went wrong with this extortion plot.
Those are some of the charges that he now faces, and I am highly confident that...
You know what? I'm done. We'll just go and check out why Avenatti can go straight to fucking hell with his lies. You see, when these extortionists get mad in their feelings, they talk too much. They do too much. Like Michael Avenatti responding to this person and spilled the beans, saying, I quote, "You are a fucking moron. Setting up the golden goose was the easiest thing to do. You have no idea my level of involvement. He's seen and treated as pedophile. Kym Fox will win office again due to the takedown of the predator. Go fuck yourself." You see, that's where they thought. See, Kym Fox ain't getting shit. Shit. You hear me? Shit. But those charges she's facing coming after this investigation. Because at the end of the day, she clearly handled this case wrong. And not only this case, she handled the Jussie Smollett case, among other cases. Clearly, the minor who refused to testify against Kelly at his 2008 trial has said under oath that it is not her. That's a misprint. that is not her on the singer's tape. This article right here, a lot of people were saying they heard also on CNN, so they felt like people in R. Kelly's camp was rolling over, were moles, and all kind of other bullshit. But at the end of the day, this is again propaganda designed to put you at an uproar. At the end of the day, they do not have 20 tapes, period. Avenatti told you this himself. So it's funny now, the savages are saying they're gonna say their goodbyes to social media. That when they first brought this to the media, they didn't have any media training. Well, what the fuck would you need media training for when all regular people do when they have a complaint is go file a police report? And I'm confused at why we haven't seen those findings from a police report. Oh, that's right, because you didn't file a police report. You just went straight to the media to jump on this slander R. Kelly's name for your benefit. Now you want to back out because people are not feeding into your bullshit. From this article in 2009, the same witness that Avenatti spoke of a few minutes ago clearly says, as a thief, she stole the videotape from the gym bag. And they're saying if she hadn't done that, he might have never been arrested. If she had not have done that, this child porn would not be out, according to their side. But we all know it's not child porn because it's a tape of her. She stole a tape she was on, her tape. It's funny, even Derogatis mentions at the time the girls Kelly had seduced, in his words, were more willing to settle than to testify. So it's funny how they keep switching the word took a settlement to he paid them off. Because to me, pay off makes it sound so much more negative than these girls accepted a settlement. Y'all always want to say, let's hold R. Kelly accountable. Why are we blaming the victims? It's because the victims are not behaving as victims. They're behaving as people looking for a payout. And what's funny is people don't peep game that all they're doing is trying to take facts and stuff like that from real sex trafficking cases and tie that into this R. Kelly case. At the end of the day, we all know R. Kelly was not sex trafficking these girls. These girls were following R. Kelly around. I didn't recall seeing a surviving this chick who was an actress on the show Smallville who was accused of sex trafficking. Didn't hear that. But you got these type of people stalking these celebrities, looking for a moment to capitalize, and are viewed as instant celebrities. At the end of the day, don't lose the faith. If you stand with R. Kelly, stand with R. Kelly. Don't back down now. This is just the beginning, 'cause it ain't over. Have a good night.